Hey, check. I'm gonna turn down the music a bit. But basically, I just want to talk about life. Life makes me kind of stutter. But I just want to bring a point that life is a step-by-step process. And you can't compare yourself to other people. You really want to be the best yourself, the best you. The way of approaching being the best you, it really comes from within. It really comes from wanting to be a better you in the next 10 minutes, in the next 10 hours, 10 years, 10 whatever. In that timeline, you should want to become a better you in any way possible. Okay, so I'm driving to Ottawa. Date is February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2020. The reason I'm doing these recordings is just, I think I'm more clear, especially by myself. My mind is definitely more clear. I get to think a lot in the next 4 to 5 hours of driving. So I want to kind of let my mind go, and tell you guys how I feel, whether it matters to you or not. I just want to let you know my thought process when it comes to how we approach life and how we approach work, how we approach family, love. It's all really important. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing here. But I'm gonna record pretty much the whole trip, so it's gonna be a lot of tape. I'll probably edit it, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe put a little background video. The first kind of topic I want to approach is passion. To me, passion does not necessarily have to follow your career path. At first I thought it was that, but I quickly learned, maybe not quickly, but I did learn that it necessarily wasn't. I always thought my passion was food, culinary, cooking. I always thought I belonged there. And without a doubt, it definitely is my profession. And I definitely do love what I do as a profession. But it definitely isn't my passion. When it comes down to passion, my passion is business. My passion is traveling. I fell in love with traveling really young. I was privileged enough to travel at a young age thanks to my parents, who did work hard to get us that opportunity. But that is my passion. Traveling, business is a passion. It's definitely turning into a profession soon, hopefully, in a different way, possibly. But definitely 100% traveling, and we'll dig into that a little bit. Alright, so I'm still in the GTA. This trip, I'm stuck in traffic, but that's nothing new in the 401 until I get to at least Port Hope. But the first topic, traveling. So traveling, when we talk about it, especially with a whole wide range of people, it can mean a lot of different things. Traveling can mean, an all-inclusive resort in the Dominican, in Cancun, in Mexico. Traveling can mean backpacking through Europe, through Africa, through Asia. Traveling can mean going up north for a weekend to Muskoka. Because essentially traveling is the act of leaving home. leaving home for X amount of time to experience something, whether it's to experience culture, experience vacation, relaxation, to experience love. I don't know why that came into my head, but well, I do know why, but we'll talk about that another time. But it's essentially to experience something outside of home. And obviously we travel to all these different places because it's different everywhere. This world we live in is a really big world, and there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot to do, a lot to see, and a lot to experience. As a guy who's traveled a little bit, I want to really emphasize on traveling in Canada because it's really underrated. When I drove across the country, BC to Ontario, or at least most of the country, it was definitely a life-changing experience because it's a lot of things people don't understand is that, a plane ticket can get us so far, but just being in the country that we're in, which is enormous, all the little spots that we can travel to within the country is absolutely beautiful. In BC, in Alberta, in Saskatchewan, in Ontario. Ontario is beautiful. Anyways, we talk about traveling. The kind of next topic I wanna touch base on. Let me just turn this down a bit. Is work. Work, your professional work. Me, as a young professional, I consider myself young still, yes. What do we do? What do we do for a living, and how do we develop that profession into a career, and how do we develop that career into our lifestyle? I chose my profession at a very young age. I think I was in grade 10, maybe even grade 9 when I decided, cooking was for me. And I did cook. I went to culinary school. I cooked in a bunch of different places, hotels, restaurants, airport. I cooked in a bunch of different cities. Toronto, Mississauga, Oakville, Vancouver, Whistler. So I've worked in Canada for the past almost 10 years. And why do we bring this up is because as a part of life, work is probably one of the things you spend the most time doing, if not the most. If you think about it, we have a 24-hour day. Let's say 8 hours gets taken away by sleep and getting ready and then preparing for work, and actually going to work, it takes about 8 to 10 to some people 12, 14 hours a day for 5 to 6 to 7 days a week. So why is work so important is because it takes up most of your life. So now deciding what we want to do for work is a different thing because in my opinion, especially now that I've grown a little bit, I don't believe that there's one profession for one person. I really do believe that there's so many different opportunities that we come across in terms of being able to work. There's different kind of workplaces that we can touch upon and enjoy at the same time. Because I was so focused, I was so career driven, and I was so food driven that it did become my life. And for the past year, 2019, since I got back from Vancouver, I definitely fell out of it. And it wasn't a term of being lazy, or it wasn't a term of. It's just something that sometimes you got to take a step back to take 2-3 steps forward. And that was my step back. A lot of people know the logistics. A lot of people that know me, at least, no, not the logistics, but the reasoning behind how I fell out of it. But I've never really admitted it. But that is what happened. So yeah, like I was saying, passion and profession are two different things. But at the time, my passion was my profession. So then now I've separated the two, and now I can get a grasp of both. And yeah, so the past year, I tried making t-shirts, selling t-shirts. I tried doing buy and sell. I did some auction stuff. I tried doing social media stuff. It wasn't really clicking. I didn't really take it seriously. So that's kind of my fault, but I did try it. I did try different things, and that's when I actually kind of began to smile again, because that's I was understanding that I know the difference between profession and passion. Obviously, if someone's lucky enough to have profession and passion together for a long period of time, it's a good thing. I had mine for 8 years, profession and passion together. But recently, I've split the two up and learned that it's two different things, and we can have both, and we can be successful at both if we approach it properly. Hey, so continuing on, I'm at Port Hope now, just past a little bit of traffic. Well, not a little bit, it was a lot. But we're going to talk about probably my favorite part. No, the next part is going to be my favorite part of this. I'll talk. But first of all, I don't know what to call this, because it's not a podcast. I don't know if I'm going to make a video. It's not a podcast. It's called Not a Podcast Talk Show? I don't know. Anyways, the next part we're going to talk about is family. Family is it's a big thing, because it's important, because it's your backbone. It's your support system. It's your how you get through the tough times. I go by the saying, tough times don't last, tough people do. To build tough people, you need a good backbone. You need good support. And I was talking to this one girl. She was like, yeah, I was an only child, so I didn't have like the family that that maybe she could have wanted. But then I said, family doesn't have to be blood. Although with me, family is definitely blood. But I also do have family that's definitely not blood. They know who they are, but once you build that relationship, it really comes down to knowing who wants to support you, and vice versa. You want to find the people that you can kind of grow and build with, and be around all the time, and be happy with. I'm in Ottawa, about to meet with my boy. But before that, we'll get to the last topic of this trip, which is, if you ask my friends, they're probably going to say it's my favorite topic. And I love to talk about it. And it's a great thing. But here it goes. The topic is... Let me turn this down. Is love. So what is love? What is love in life? How do you define it? How do you identify it? All that kind of stuff. Love to me, am I in love? Currently, no. I don't think I'm in love with anyone. Maybe life. Have I been in love? Yes, I have. But that's a part of the growth. When it comes to happiness, living life, and growing as a human being. a very big thing. Because love teaches you a lot. Love teaches you commitment. Love teaches you loyalty, compassion, and love teaches you, in a way, happiness. Because I've never met people in love be unhappy. And I'm talking about like true love. And that word, I've said it like 100 times in the past 30 seconds. But it's an interesting topic. I kind of want to get more opinions on it, where people stand with it. Because I want to make this a whole segment, I guess, and not just have it on this introduction to this not a podcast thing that I'm doing. Yeah, I just want to get your opinion before I even start, like, break the surface on this topic. It definitely is a tricky thing. It's a great thing, and I hope today, especially February 14th, Valentine's Day, is so cliche, but I hope you're in love. I really do. I hope everyone's in love.